unless we're millionaires or a billionaire, we might think that this gospel has little to say to us because we're not, perhaps, all that rich. In fact, sometimes people who are rich don't always think they're that rich. But I would suggest that there really is a deep meaning to this gospel that's meant for all of us. The late Jesuit spiritual director Tony DeMello spoke about this particular aspect of our spiritual life. He had a little formula. It was, do you want to be happy? And most people would say yes. And he would say, surrender your possessions. Surrender your attachments. The less attachments you have, the freer you are. And the freer you are, the happier you are. Now you see how that formula fits very much with today's gospel. This man had many possessions, many attachments. And so too do we. Each and every one of us are caught up in all sorts of attachments. And they're not just physical, material attachments. Think about it. Some people are attached to their opinions. They're attached to always needing to be right. There are people who are attached to resentments. People who are attached to not forgiving another person for a hurt. So there's an attachment to one's hurts. There are all sorts of ways in which we are attached. And we need our God to reveal them to us. Because sometimes we're blind to our attachments. Just as I said in the beginning, sometimes the rich don't think they're very rich. What's your attachment? Now, maybe you might be overwhelmed and say, oh my goodness, I have so many. And where do I start? Well, God, I believe, every Lent, and we're coming up on Lent in just 2 days from now, 3 days, Wednesday. And our God, each Lent, perhaps asks us to surrender something, to give up something. What attachment would we offer this year? Which one in our prayer is one that really might be hindering our spiritual growth? And our God can reveal that. And you know, we can't just snap our fingers and get rid of that attachment. No, we need the help of God's grace. And that's an important thing to remember. We can make the offering, but we need God's grace. And that's why there's a beautiful line in today's gospel passage. Jesus looked at him, loved him. Jesus is looking at you and loving you, even with all your attachments. And Jesus knows that it is not with a snap of a finger that I can get rid of those attachments, but only with grace. And so let us, as we approach Lent on Wednesday, to remember Tony DeMello's formula. Surrender your attachments. The less attachments you have, the freer you are. The freer you are, the happier you are. And that happiness is drawing closer to our God in and through Jesus Christ. Truly free, truly loved.